Yeah, morning trades. Yesterday we were very focused on what was happening in the S&P and Nasdaq and the push through to new highs coming through there, and obviously the focus on the S&P and whether we're going to break through 5,000 in the cash market. Today we're focused on other opportunities for people who like increased movement. There's been other places to look at which we can point out, and one of those places yesterday was what we saw in the Nikkei. That cash market closed up 2%. New highs coming through there. Good volume playing through. We haven't quite pushed there in US dollar terms. Obviously, a lot of this is down to the yen effect that we've been seeing, but that market's now in breakout territory, and it feels like there's further juice on the upside there as well. Now, if cash markets were to open in Japan right now, and I'm saying this sort of 90 minutes or so before the close of the US markets, we'd be calling that market up about 60 basis points as well. So, yeah, it does feel like there's further juice in this long trade to come. If we have a look at Europe as well, where we've seen Euro stocks working really well recently, and that market closed up another 70 basis points as well. One of the trades we like as well, if you want to sort of just take or work it on a sort of relative value place, you can look at long Euro stock, short Spanish IBEX. IBEX has been underperforming, and it's been a trade that's been working well, and I feel like there's further juice in that trade to the upside as well. But Euro stocks working really well at the moment and breaking out. It's been a bit of a grind, but certainly, buyers are very much in control of that situation. If we have a look at the US, so if you look at large caps, the net change on the S&P is pretty poor. And actually, if you look at within the market there, you can see that it's been a pretty messy, choppy price action in terms of intraday, and we've traded a very tight range of 49.97, 49.87. We are seeing some outperformance in energy stocks. REITs are working well, tech's okay. On the bottom of the pile, you've got financials and utilities, but pretty tight range in the large caps. Where we're seeing the outperformance, I think what's definitely worth putting on the radar is what's happening in the Russell. The cash market at the moment, as I speak, is up 1.5%. We've got volumes 20% above the sort of 30-day average there. Now, after four lower highs that we've been seeing, we've seen a situation on that fourth day, the range expansion is really coming quite nicely. And that's sort of thematic what we've been seeing across markets. High short interest stocks have been working well today. High short interest baskets are up over 3%. High beta momentum names are working well. So there is pockets of movement playing through in the markets, but the Russell looking like it's got further to work with there as well. Now in the Treasury complex, twos are only up a couple of basis points, but we are seeing a bit of selling playing through, further out the curve. We've got 10s up about 5 or 6 basis points as I speak at the moment. Now, there's been a big focus on what we saw in the Treasury Department, who have issued 30-year paper, 25 billion of 30-year paper. Very, very strong bond auction playing through yet again. And we did see yields moving a little bit lower post that auction, but they've come back again. Sellers have moved in, and yields are sitting pretty much across the highs, across 10s at the moment, 30-year treasuries. And that's boosting the US dollar to an extent. If we have a look at the FX moves, one of the pairs we like at the moment is higher dollar yen. We've got that currently trading 149.34. It has broken out this consolidation range we've been seeing. Obviously, those yield differentials are working very nicely in the US dollar's favour. It does feel like that 150 is pretty much on the cards now with dollar yen. Now, in the session ahead, we are going to be watching what happens in this US CPI revision. The BLS will be revising the weightings in that CPI basket. That could put some upside in US inflation in terms of realised inflation, and that may again just continue to push this dollar a bit further. But we are seeing a bit of sellers playing through in the Aussie dollar. If you have a look at the daily of Aussie US dollar, we sort of retested that neckline of the head and shoulders pattern. It's coming down, it's rolling over, and I think that sort of needs to be on the radar as well. If we go and break these recent lows of 64, 68, I think short positions continue to work quite nicely in that situation. And we're seeing a few sellers across the Aussie curve as well. I mean, Aussie Swiss is looking pretty heavy. Aussie CAD is also looking a bit heavy in that situation as well. Now, we're also seeing Bitcoin working. I think this needs to be on the radar as well. We've broken 45,000. We're seeing higher lows playing through. It feels like there's more to come in the grind that we're seeing in Bitcoin. Specifically, we're seeing some good long interest there from clients. The other area that's working well on the day is what's happening in crude. Crude's up about just over 3%. People are saying this is down to sort of the pessimism around the ceasefire, but certainly crude working nicely in this kind of bull channel that we've been seeing. It feels like there's again more upside playing through though. So whilst we're seeing some fairly tight ranges in the S&P and Nasdaq, there are areas of the market which continue to work and definitely need to be on the radar today.